What's goody, everybody? It's full-time trip. We are back. Brighton 0. Arsenal 1 at the Amex Stadium, whatever you want to call it. We cashing out. No need no cars. It's 1-0 to the Arsenal. Clean sheets on deck. 3 points in the bag. We move on the table, baby. You can take that to the bank. I needed that. I needed that result. I needed that result heavily, man. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. How are y'all doing? Welcome in. Let's take a deep breath real quick. It's good. What the fuck is going on? That was so stressful. Listen. That was indeed a stressful game. I couldn't record goal reactions or any like mid-game reactions or whatever because I was in meetings literally from my 9 to 5. So that was a difficult thing to live through, and I'm just like stressing. You can see like the neck veins just pop out every time I'm looking to the side of my screen to see what's going on. And oh my gosh, what a stressful game indeed. What a stressful game indeed. The only goal coming from a brave effort from Bukayo Saka to let a shot fly just outside the box, gets through from a big keeper mistake from Verbruggen, I believe, was in goal today. We get that goal, and then everything else was honestly squeaky bum time. One of the worst performances that I've seen this season, hands down. We can get that out the gate. Holy hell. Let's do the veggies. And let's do the dessert. You watched last video, I'm trying to establish just like, you know what I'm saying, like give both sides of the coin here. But veggies. Oh my gosh. That was one of the most uncontrolled, hoofball, dead-legged performances I've seen from an all-round application standpoint, from a whole team perspective. It was so hard to keep the ball. It looked like a chore to keep the ball. It looked like a GCSE, like an advanced level, like AP, like SAT bar level, barrister's exam type stuff. Like it looks so difficult, rocket science, as it may be known in some circles, to keep the ball and try and keep control amidst Brighton's press. I know they're gonna press heavy. I know they're gonna have bodies really trying to flood through, but the lack of control was baffling at times. I can be very honest. And trying to persist playing along with Gyökeres, who isn't really attuned to playing along at this point. There were not great individual performances. There were giveaways out the gate. Again, Raya with a mistake, and there was some other people with mistakes, and I think Mostera had a mistake in the first half as well. There were so many things from an individual standpoint, from a collective standpoint, that was just uncontrolled. Purely uncontrolled, and I don't want to say too much more about that. But I will say on the other flip side of this, I hope this gives people a lesson. I hope this gives people a reminder that every person that we have in this squad is valuable in their own ways. I want people to know that, remember that, hold that close to your heart. Whenever you're about to slander a player, you know what I'm saying? As much as we can slander players today, they'll have their use and they'll have their time. Prime example, again, Gyökeres will definitely get slandered today. That was a bad performance. That was not a good performance. Like outside of 2 actions that were pretty good in terms of hold up and playing it on and linking up, not good performance. Martinelli, not a good performance. You know what I'm saying? And we can be honest in saying them two next to each other positionally should never happen again. Ever. At all. Whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? Zubimendi, not a great performance either. Not a really good performance, man. Dead-legged to the hilt. Tried his best, but again, I think the minutes are really catching up to him in this frame of time at this point. You know what I mean? But I think that's more a fatigue issue than an application issue in my mind. I just think there are a lot of things that we could point to that were not great. But at the same token, there may be moments where those players will become key. They'll become important. So while we are going to give them stick for today, while we are going to say, hey, they didn't have the best of games today, this is not your moment to say, oh yeah, they don't belong in any squad of any kind for the rest of the season, XYZ, because as soon as we flip to the Champions League, they might become valuable again. They'll become key again. And they'll have their moments to shine and contribute. In this instance, for this game today, 2 people I want to point out. One, somebody that did feature in the second half of that game. Well, we could point out 3. Calafiori definitely was a helper in that aspect, but more importantly, I was focused on Havertz. How key Havertz is. Winning duels, finding smart ways to get on the ball, get around the ball, screen off ball, and just scan off ball and figure out how to be a nuisance. His IQ, his smarts in almost every phase of the game is so underrated. It's been so understated. And the people that have continually hated on Havertz since the beginning of his tenure at Arsenal, I bet some of them were screaming, man, we need Havertz back. And they don't realize the idiocy of completely condemning him from the start. You didn't own up to any of that. So if you're one of those people, you know what I'm saying, repent. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We can be honest about these things. He was needed to see out that game. Second person that was not there at all, but I think really would have been a better help today, Martin Odegaard. As much as we have, again, ragged on Martin Odegaard in certain points of the season as a fan base, I haven't really. We can be honest about him. We can be critical. We don't have to be slanderous in that sense, but some people have been. I'll be very honest. We needed somebody to put their foot on the ball. And if there's anybody who is solid and understands what control means, what poise means in pressured moments, knowing how to wriggle out of some, again, tight moments when they're getting tracked down. Odegaard's been one of those people. Yes, sometimes it may go backwards. Yes, we have some frustrations with him playing forward, having forward play. But when it comes to controlling games, understanding the tempo of when to slow down and know when to put your foot on the ball, Odegaard has been that tempo setter for a long time, and us missing that is a clear set of evidence that he is still incredibly valuable to the squad. So before you jump out the window on any of these players, including the ones that played bad today, just know they're going to have their time in the sun where you're going to cheer for them. So if you completely condemn them, that's on your ass. That's on your ass. Every last player, we got to back them. They'll have their bad moments. We'll call it when we see it, but we got to back every last person in the squad. Point blank, period. That's my point. Anyways, on to dessert. Holy hell, that defending was fantastic. Oh my gosh. We needed a defensive performance like that where we see out games. Now, I wish we had more control to go with that, but that's more of a midfield and attackers and getting a foot on the ball and the technical level issue, which wasn't there. But the level which this defense that many have built, which we have built, I've self-built as the best defense in the world today, that was a defense that showed up and proved that they're the best defense in the world today. That was gritty. That was in the trenches. That was proactive. That was incredible. And I'll give you individuals on the back end of the video, but I just want to say from a collective defensive standpoint, that is what wins you championships. That is what wins you titles. That right there, the effort to see it through, to have the poise to ward off anything, be proactive to everything. That is what I wanted to see. A classic 1-0 to the Arsenal. Needed a clean sheet over the past few games. Needed a defensive statement over these past few games. And that was one if I've ever seen one. If we're going to grind this out, if we're going to get through this, we're going to have to get ugly in a lot of different moments, in my opinion. We're going to have to. And if that comes at the constant ridicule of the media and all the fools out there who try and slander Arsenal just because they hate Arsenal, just because they hate the badge, sometimes they don't even want to properly critique things or just point to us as a scapegoat because we're good at every phase of the game. But this one we're especially good at. Forget them. It's not about them. It's about us. Look at that. For years and years in the past, we've played champagne football. We've played wonderful tiki-taka, all this stuff, the Norwich goal, Jack Wilshere, all this stuff like that, Rasicki's and all this stuff right there. Not that I discredit those times. I love those times. But that did not get us anywhere closer to a championship in the past decade plus than we have been now. We have not been closer to a title than we have been now over these past few years, being a more solid side, being a more savvy side, being a more stout side. So if I'm looking at performances like this, yes, I may get heart palpitations, but if you defend with your lives, if you put everything down and make things happen and cut them out and not give them anything, that's worth it in the end. That's worth it. So huge credit to the dessert, the defensive performance. That's what I want to see. That's the effort. That's the quality. Love it. Love it, man. Give out some standouts really quickly here. Obviously, Bukayo Saka with the goal, 300 appearances, man, did his thing. 300 appearances at 24 years old. This man, if they do big things this season, bro, he'll already solidify himself as one of the biggest legends this club has ever seen. I don't care what you want to say. I don't care what you have to say. He will solidify himself as one of the biggest stories to ever come from Arsenal Football Club. He's able to do that. And if he's locking in like he's locking in now, if he's doing those things to produce, get back on that GA front, start to put things on the score sheet, lead from the front like he can, then we're going to see some real traction in these last 8 games. So that's where we're at, and I'm loving it, man. Shouts to him for that. Declan Rice, again, one of the midfield that has been getting ran ragged a lot. But I think out of the two, it's crazy how this man, every last about 15, maybe 10 minutes of the game, he just finds an extra set of lungs in the back. And he's like, yeah, nah, I can use these, bro. I can use that. No worries, bro. And he goes to town, bro. Everything is getting marked down, hawked down. Just, he knows he just pulls out a different level to get to that, just the required just application of intensity, of grit, again, of solidity, of making those things happen and not letting anything go against us. That is what I want to see. That is an incredible just skill, an incredible skill, incredible desire. More than that. So big ups to Declan Rice for that. Let me see who else is out there, man. I thought Timber did solid as well. The whole back line did their thing. Even Mosquera, that was on a yellow that I think was wrongly given just for a stupid push, which I don't think anybody else got a yellow for a push in that similar fashion. And there were a few. There were definitely a few. Oh, sorry. I'm looking up in the background, man. I'm looking at this goal that Forrest scored to equalize, man. I didn't even catch it fully. Is that Anderson? Is that Anderson? Banger. Ooh, that's tough. That's tough. Ooh, I love it. Anyways, gotta give a big shout out to Timber for that and Mosquera for the work that they did. David Raya, definitely a standout player for me. Handled a lot of his business, had to make sure things were going on outside of the mistake early. Outside of that, he was damn near spotless. Good for him on that front. Gabriel Maghalaes. If there's a player that you want in the trenches, if there's a player you want in the duels, if you want men to stand up and be counted, he's the first person that's going to stand up tall, chest out, chin up, big teeth to the sky and say, yeah, I'm here. What's good? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make these tackles happen, bro. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Like he's so good when the chips are down, backs are against the wall, and we need to dig things out. We need to if we have a difficult moment, he's gonna meet that moment more often than not, bro. The absolute man mountain, the colossal mentality that he is, Gabriel Maghalaes, he deserves big things. He deserves so much. I love it. I love it, man. Good stuff. And my man of the match, gotta give it to him. Been on an upward trajectory from the last few games, last few weeks. Piero Hincapie de Jefe. Oh my goodness. Now, I said Gabriel was the first up to be counted when it's time to go to war, when it's time to get in that trench and get tough. Hincapie has shown if Gabriel's number one, this man might be 1B. This man might just be 1B because he was not afraid of anything. And one thing I love, one thing that has been scaring me a lot is sometimes the frailties in our transition defense. And how do we defend against that? How do we be a bit more shored up in that respect? He has prevented so many things from his perspective looks, his foresight rather than hindsight, his foresight to chase down things, to make things happen. How many breaks that could have sprung off from Brighton's perspective that he stopped single-handedly by making sure he got there early, spotting that the ball was going out into space and making that happen and cutting it off. How many headers that he just nodded away in the last 10-15 minutes of the game when it was siege mentality. This guy is a warrior. He absolutely belongs here. He absolutely can do a job here. And that profile and the aggressiveness, the grit, the will to make sure nothing happens against us, that is super commendable. He's by far my man of the match today, bro. Incredible efforts, man. Over these past few weeks, he stepped up massively. And when I said every single person in this squad needs to be used and will be valuable and will be key, this is one of those people that he got slandered coming into the club. Again, had an injury, had a little bit of a rough start, man. They're like, oh man, he's like a you know what I'm saying, a dog or whatever in a car, like he's driving perfectly or whatever tweet that was, man. Funny tweet at the time, but still, people were slandering him for no reason. People were getting on to him a little bit too much. I'm like, yo, give him time. Like he'll show himself. He'll show himself, and he's showing himself right now. When you look at it, North London derby, it's kind of easy, but still, it's North London derby. Anything can happen in that with us. Chelsea, tough game. You know, again, a tough game where we don't know what could have happened or X, Y, Z. They're going to put up a fight a little bit here. You know what I'm saying? Our dogs, but they're going to put up a fight. And then Brighton away when they've been in form. 3 difficult games when you're coming off of the bounce of a rough run of form. 3 difficult games, and we've gotten max points from all of them. This is the turnaround I wanted to see. This is the way to impose your will and fight. Just fight. Not even impose your will, because I ain't gonna lie. Imposing some of these games have not been good. Some of these games have not been good. I will track imposing your will. But the fight to win, the grit, the that's what champions do mentality, That's showing up. That's been showing up over these past couple of weeks. And long may it continue. Long may it continue. That's what I've wanted to see from this squad consistently, and we're starting to see those flashes, man. I want to see more and more. We still got a job to do, but damn it, this was a good step, especially considering that City drew today. The City drew 2-2, and we capitalized in a moment where people thought we could easily crumble. There's still going to be those myths. There's still going to be those thoughts and conceptions and just negative stigma against us. It's up to us to impose our will and crush all those things underneath our feet as we keep going along. You saw what happened when one thing goes good. We ain't scored an open play goal for a month. We score off a couple set pieces and stuff like that. And the whole world goes mad. Imagine if we keep on our job, keep doing our thing, and push along, make things happen, do what we got to do, grind out results. And what many people, including one of the best center backs in Premier League history and one of the best managers in Premier League history and yet football history, have said, one of the toughest seasons they've ever experienced in the Premier League, if not the toughest. Believe. These guys got to believe in themselves. They got to back themselves. We got to believe in them and back ourselves as well. That's where we at, man. Let me know what you thought about the game in the comment section below. All that good stuff. Just let me know what's going on. How you feel about the team right now, the performance, the manager, rotation, everything was happening with Mansfield at the weekend, and then Champions League right after that against Leverkusen. A lot of time, hopefully, to rotate, but we'll see what's going on. Man, what a day. What a day. My name is Full-Time Trip. That is all the time that I got, and until next time, I will catch y'all at the weekend for Mansfield, man. COYG. Peace.